Well, I'm Dr. Bleu Schniederjan. I'm actually a physician, surgeon. I grew up in Dalhart, Texas. This is my granddad's farm. Moved here in the 70s. Bought it from my parents. I'm currently a general surgeon, but also I do a lot of health and wellness, and ties back into farming and how we grow our food. That's a passion of mine, and I love being out here on the farm. When I went off to college, I went to Texas Tech, and I actually did an agronomy degree. I enjoyed coming home in the summers and bringing new ideas to my dad. I went off to medical school. I did a general surgery residency. Actually did 6 months of heart surgery in New York. Moved back to Dalhart. I did general surgery for the community. I'm currently in Amarillo. I'm doing bariatric surgery and also some general surgery. But I bought our family farm about 5 years ago and have been developing it into kind of where it is today. Most of the community here, as far as farming is concerned, is we grow a lot of corn, a lot of sorghum, wheat, cotton. A lot of dairies have moved into the community, so a lot of the crops now is silage. So the crops that I'm going to be growing is wheatledge, corn silage, and forage sorghum. And the way that I'm rotating it, I want something growing all the time. I have some regenerative agriculture principles in me, minimal to no-till. I want soil health. I want crops growing. I want to optimize the microbes out in the soil. So with that in mind, right now I'm doing wheatledge for the dairy, followed by corn silage on the other half of the drip, and then later in the year I'm going to stagger forage sorghum behind the wheat. So what's unique, I work with my brother-in-law and sister. They do the management on the farm. My dad is out here also farming, and so I get to work with them on a day-to-day basis.
Hi, I'm Jamie Puga, and this is my wife Jordan Puga, and we work for Bleu, and Bleu is my brother-in-law, and we do the irrigating on the farm. I grew up here in Dalhart, and so did my wife, and all we have known is pivot irrigation.
Have a bunch of nephews and nieces that also are on the farm throughout the day, and it's really fun to get to interact with them. There's nothing better than being around family and your job every day.
It's an adventure. We have a good time, so I really enjoy it.
It's a lot of fun working with Bleu and Lacey, and also getting to have our boys out here to be a part of it, and we really enjoy it.
We've done a bunch of different things. We first started working, and we started rotational grazing and doing some cattle and stuff, and so it's just been an adventure. Every part of it is different, and I think it's just it makes it exciting, and it's not always the same thing. So we went from that to now we have the drip, and it's a whole new way of farming. It's fun.
So balancing being a surgeon, a dad, and also farming it's unique. It's something that a lot of sacrifice from my wife and family, but I've found that I always keep Jesus number one, my family number two, and then work eventually. As long as you keep your priorities straight, it all falls in place. But I've been able to balance that. So how I got involved with SDI and NutraDrip, it's a passion that I've had. With my agronomy degree, I've always been interested in water use efficiency and nutrient management. And with the area that we live in, it's really hot during the summer. We don't get a lot of rainfall. And I've always wanted to be a good steward with the resources we have. And so I've always been interested in subsurface drip irrigation, but also I have a unique opportunity that I work with the local dairy, and I have effluent that comes to my farm. And so I had about a dream for about 5 years of wanting to put drip in, but also put effluent through the drip. I am partners with Bill and Jake Myatt on some drip and Dimmet, and I've seen how far their water goes, how profitable the farms are with drip. that made me willing to go all in. And it's been the best decision that I've ever made.
He was really excited about it, started sending us some pictures, and then NutraDrip came in and we had a meeting, and it's kind of been a whirlwind since then. It's been fun, been exciting, something we had never been exposed to, and we've learned a lot.
Reached out to Kurt Grimm and NutraDrip to help me with this project, and that has been one of the biggest blessings in the world.
I started in 2010, and my granddad gave me one 30-acre drip field in 2010, and that was the first one of my.
The beginning of
that was the
those
start.
acres. So what is the oldest drip that y'all have in your family?
My dad put one in 2004, so it's like a little over 20 years old, our oldest one. And then my granddad about the same time, a little over 20 years.
Still lasting.
Still really
causing-
good.
I use this example, it's been really hot this week, and I'm finishing up my corn, which is the drip, transitioning over to the forage sorghum, which is under sprinkler. And to watch when I water the forage sorghum with the sprinkler, a day or two later, it's stressing again. My drips, that's not the case. It's crazy how efficient and how you can take your water so much further. Give you an example, this summer we've essentially put about 10.1 inches of fresh water, 1.3 inches of a dairy effluent on our corn, and we're going to be making around 32 ton is what we kind of decided today. On my pivots, I will have pumped 25 inches of fresh water, and the yields will be pretty comparable.
So if you would have saw that specific field for the past 4 years, we've tried to grow a pretty crop, and we call it hill estate, and we've never had a successful, productive crop. Now how it looks, it's night and day.
Oh, there's no comparison to what we have now with the drip. It's 100 times better than the pivot. Yeah.
One thing about drip that's really unique is I can manage my water to take all three crops and optimize them through the year. For example, as my wheat is starting to mature, I can start taking my water and start getting my corn going and then finish my wheat off. Same thing with the forage sorghum. Can't do that with a pivot. So it gives me a lot more flexibility on maximizing my water use, but also profitability on the farm. In the Texas Panhandle, West Texas, what would you tell farmers out there, our water's declining? Has this been a good investment for you?
Yes, it's been a really good investment. I think drilling wells, putting drip irrigation, it's the best thing you can do with the money you make. And to me, if you don't invest it in that, you're looking at going dry land basically. If you don't find a more efficient way to irrigate the way our water's dropping, it gives you a way to still make yield and to still farm and still grow stuff. And that's what we love to do.
A lot of data says 30% savings of water. I think it's more than that. I think another thing that I think we see with our drip is it really shines in even the drier years. So when you're having really hard, dry years, the drip, your production is going to stay consistent. Where sprinklers, it's going to be very variable. Now, I want to take all the risk out of a farm, and that's the one thing that stresses me out every night. I want to be very consistent with production, very consistent on marketing, very consistent on everything I do to minimize my risk exposure. And so I think that's something that's really surprised me. I think the thing that I wanted to improve, just not only with water use efficiency, but nutrient management. One thing I think I really saw this year is when you're putting dairy effluent and micronutrients into the root zone of a plant, there's some synergy that happens that it's really hard to explain how the plant comes alive. And as a physician, this really matters to me. I've realized this, that we genetically, have the ability to live to 120 years, but our environment's limiting us. Same thing with that corn plant. That corn plant genetically wants to make 2, 3, even potentially 4 years if it's given the right nutrients. And so working with NutraDrip, we've been doing sap analysis every 2 weeks through the season, taking all those nutrients and fine-tuning it. Matter of fact, this summer, in addition to the dairy effluent, we put out some zinc, we put out some boron, some iron, some copper, some molybdenum, some sulfur, really to optimize the plant growth. And that to me is one of my biggest passions. I think if we give our body what it needs and we give that plant what it needs, the potential is enormous.
We do compost manure after most of our early corn. Most of the April corn gets compost. And but other than that, we do it through the tape and inject it like you through the tape. It's just, nitrogen.
And this is something that I've kind of been passionate about, that I think is a part of drip that is, to me, kind of the magic bullet, besides water use efficiency, is that plant, when you're able to put the nutrients at the root with the water, it just makes it come alive.
Oh yeah, so much more efficient. It's not running down to the plyo lake, and you get to have it right where the roots are. Yeah, and like I was saying about the dry layer with the pivot, you don't have to worry about getting through that, 10 inches of dry dirt to get to the roots. You're already right there beside it. But it's huge being able to put it right where it needs it.
Being a physician and being a farmer is really unique. And what I continue to learn is we always thought genetics was the most important thing. We always thought 90% of everything's genetics, 10% environment. We're starting to switch that. More so 10 to 15% genetics, 85 to 90% is environment. And that, from a physician standpoint, it's all about, what we're eating, okay? And how healthy the food is. Well, that goes back to how we grow it, the soil health, the nutrients in that food. And so what I've become passionate is, as a farmer, I want to optimize and make what I send to those dairy cows, that it is the healthiest, most nutritious thing possible. Because if I can optimize the dairy cow health, then ultimately I'm going to optimize human health. And so I think as a farmer, that's become very passionate about that, and that's kind of what I want to do next. Our system, essentially, we're getting dairy effluent from a local dairy. I just really appreciate them. I took this idea to them, and they've been very supportive. I think they want to see this project work, and just to save water in the area, be more productive with our crops. It's been awesome to see them be open to this, what I thought was a crazy idea. But my expectations were very high of how this would work this year. It's blown my expectations. And so I can't say enough how much I appreciate that. We dug a lagoon, and that lagoon has about, based off what we're pumping every day, we're pumping about 80 to 120 gallons a day of effluent. That lasts about 5 days. And the drip station is there at the lagoon. What we're able to do is we use a river screen, which pre-filtrates all the solids out of the dairy effluent. It goes over to the drip station. We have pretty much all electric wells that bring fresh water to the drip station. And then what's cool is we have a EC valve that correlates with nitrogen content of the dairy effluent, and we're able to program exactly the amount of nitrogen we want to put out. So that EC valve is automated, and through the season we can change that. It mixes together with the fresh water, gets filtered again with the Send media filters, and then goes out to the zones. What I like is we're using the dairy effluent, being very efficient with our water, and then just really micromanaging what that plant gets. Also at that drip station, we could put a bunch of micronutrients through it and optimize plant growth. I think the biggest benefits of putting this all through the drip line is it's not only just the water use efficiency, but that plant, putting it at the root system, again, I think we need to really figure out there's an enormous synergy that happens. That plant, it's hard to describe how it has responded so well to that combination. And I think also, just looking in the future, this is when you automate everything, like for example, you've got weather data, you have SAP analysis every 2 weeks. We know we have the ability to put on a bunch of micronutrients along with the effluent. We have soil moisture probes. I think there'll be a day where we'll be able to overlap AI on top of this system and really be even more efficient and maximize the potential of water savings. And so I think that we're just scratching the surface of where this can go. It is a unique thing. I don't know of anyone else that's partnered with a dairy like this, but by me growing for them, it's been a win-win relationship. And I guess this is what I hope to see is I want to help them be more productive with what they've got.
Using the effluent, it's been great. It's been easy. You don't have to have trucks deliver fertilizer and all that stuff. So all that hassle is done with. It's just directly going into our pit, and I think it's made our crop a lot better.
A lot more productive,
Yeah.
yes.
A lot of farmers around in my area, which our water's even better than the Dimmitt area in some spots,
Oh, yeah.
that they're even, they're throwing their hands up. We're moving, we're going to bigger water. But what I've seen that y'all have done in Dimmitt, if you've taken the resources that you have left and just taken farms that weren't being productive and just making them so
Yep.
productive.
Yeah, I love saying show them love.
Show them love.
But yeah, we just try to get the farms that hadn't had any improvements done on them in 20 years, drill some wells, put a new main line in, get them all electric, and do some dirt work. You gotta do a lot of dirt work before you put the drip in. And it seems like once you get a farm in really good shape, that first year, coming off this project, the first year's a lot, but they're so much easier after you get that first year behind you, and then they can just be productive, and then you just have to keep the maintenance. The maintenance is, you can't just do it and forget about them.
So what I will say with all the other drip projects, particularly in our area, there was kind of a negative experience with a lot of drip projects that went in, and this is where I'm going to speak for NutraDrip. They have come along and just been a really good partner for me. By the installation, for example, I always tell everyone they do everything with excellence. They showed up and installed 400 acres for me in about 2.5, 3 weeks. They're running 2 shifts, 8-hour shifts, and going 16 hours a day. And the staff just cleaning up trash, little details. It was amazing. But also in addition to that, they started my system up. We got all the leaks taken care of. They've helped me with rodent management. The agronomy side, the SAP analysis, they're here every week. They're helping me just operate and optimize the system. They want me to be successful. I don't think that that's been the experience that most drip companies, maybe that just hasn't been the experience of most people up here.
It's been so simple. We usually go and check the filter station where the lagoon is, and then you can just get on the app and check your zones, make sure all the pressures are good, and yeah, I mean it's really simple.
Earwatch and Grow Guru have been a key component in the system that we've developed. Grow Guru, what I like about it, it's very user friendly. When I pull it up, I can really understand everything, and then I feel like that technology is essential. Really knowing if my plants, not in addition to visually seeing them and manually probing them, I've got another very useful tool to either confirm what I'm already seeing. Earwatch, what I love technology, and the satellite data, being able to see crop growth, little parts of the field that may be stressing that I'm not appreciating, really cool. I think that also, again, in the future, using all these different resources like these two with the management of the system, I think AI will come into this and really also could help optimize things.
If another farmer asked if SDI-E was worth it, what would you tell them?
100%.
For sure.
Do it.
It's worth it.
I'm gonna try to put in as much drip onto my farmland as fast as I can. I have an additional 620 acres I wanna do this fall, hopefully. I have another farm that's about 1,450 acres, and we're gonna try to stage it and get this drip put in as fast as we can. I've seen the savings is on the water, the efficiency, the return on investment. Hands down, it's the best decision I've made actually in farming.
For us, this has been a dream for Bleu. So part of the excitement is just getting to see what he's wanted to do, him and Lacey wanted to do out here. It's coming to pass and it's working, it's successful. And to see how much water we're being able to save and just the sustainability and keeping the farm and the family and there being water for the future.
I think farmers, especially if they want to venture off in this, they need a partner like NutraDrip.